Hi everybody, I just wanted to run through the worksheets in last week's lesson so that you can correct any mistakes or anything that you didn't understand, so you can try and see if you can understand it after I go through it. Okay, so I'm just going to make this a bit smaller because it's easier to navigate. There we go. Okay, so like I said, you're going to work on shapes, and we went through the shapes in this sheet. There are, what are there, 16 shapes in there altogether. Hopefully you're a little bit more familiar with some of them now than you were before. And on the questions here then, I asked you to try and answer the questions below, and I just asked you how many of the shapes do you know from page 1. So some of you knew some of them, some of you knew a lot of them, but some of them I'm sure you mightn't have come across before, like a regular decagon, for example. Not many people come across that. This one here, the rhombus, a lot of people aren't familiar with that one, and we'll come back to that one in a minute. And also the triangles, lots of different triangles here. You've seen them all before, but you may not have seen the names. Don't worry about the names, like I said. It's something you learn over time. Okay. Okay. So which shape looks the same as a stop sign? Okay. So what I was looking at there was the octagon. Okay, the regular octagon. That's the one that you see on the roads that's red and has stop written in white across it. Okay, so that's one that you see quite regularly. It's called a regular octagon. OCT means 8, oct. Anything you see with oct generally means 8. Okay, octagonal is an 8-sided shape. Okay, which shape looks like a plate? So I said a circle. I haven't written in the answers here, but what I was getting at there was a circle. Now you may have a plate in an ellipse shape, and you may have one actually in a square or a rectangle shape, but most of our plates that we see on a day-to-day basis would be a circle. How many of the shapes have right or 90-degree angles? Now, that one caught a lot of people out. We have the right angle triangle here. Okay, there's a right angle, a 90-degree angle. We also have the square and the rectangle. Okay, so 3 of them have right angles. None of the others have angles that are exactly like this. Okay, the 90-degree angle. So 3 of them, the square, the rectangle, and the right angle triangle. Okay, so that's what the answer was there. 3, square, rectangle, and right angle triangle. Which shape looks like a door? Now I know you can have odd shaped doors, but the vast majority of our doors are rectangular in shape. That one there. Which shape has 6 sides? Okay, now that one you may not have been familiar with, but if we go back up here, square and rectangle both have 4 sides. Circle and ellipse only have 1 edge, if you like. Triangles all have 3 sides. Okay, and then on the next line, all of these shapes have 4 sides. This is where we get to different numbers of sides, and the one with 6 sides is here, the regular hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so a hexagon is a 6-sided shape. How many triangles can you see? And we'll deal with which shape can you fly as well in that one. Okay, so how many triangles can you see? So there were 4 different types of triangles. The equilateral one means they're all the same sides and the same size angles. The isosceles one means the opposite sides are equal. Scalene, this means none of the angles or sides are equal. And then the right angle triangle is this one here with the right angle. So 4 of them. And we also asked which shape could you fly? And it's this one here, a kite. Okay. So you see those flying up in the air at the beach or in fields. We see little kids flying their kites. Okay. Now this one here caught a lot of people out. Which shape looks a little bit like a diamond, like in playing cards? So a lot of people said the kite, but the kite is a little bit, these sides are a bit too short, okay, to be like the diamond in playing cards. It's actually this one here, okay, the rhombus. If you turn that rhombus around so that it's sitting on the point here, it looks like the diamond that you see in a pack of cards. Okay. And then what does 2D mean? Really, all I'm getting here is that it has two dimensions, length or width, and width, I should say, but that it's flat. If a shape is flat, it means it's two-dimensional. Okay. Now, we went on to talk about some of the ideas about 2D and 3D shapes. Some of the language you may not be familiar with, but don't worry about that. Okay, we'll cover that over the next few weeks. And then people had a look to see if they could find some 2D shapes at home. So there's lots of examples of that. A few I'm trying to think of from answers, and my own ones where I say a table mat or a rug, a piece of paper, anything like that that's flat. Okay. Now the 3D shapes then we went on to, okay? You have more work on 3D shapes this week. So match 2D shapes to the 3D shapes. So most of you that have done this haven't had any issue with it. I'll just show you the answers now. We'll insert a few arrows if I can. Okay, it's not letting me. Can't do that. Okay. Oh, it is. Give it a minute. It might respond. But in the meantime, hopefully I'll be able to talk through it and this will unlock. I can't move anywhere just now because my Word has stopped responding. Okay, there we go. Right, will it let me? Yes, it will. Good. Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Okay, so I want to find the 3D shape that matches this pentagon here. So where is it? Let's see. It's not the cube because you can see this is a square face. It's not this one. This is a hexagon face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. This has 5 sides, so it's not that one. And here we go. See this shape here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So this one is pentagonal prism. Okay, so that matches that one. Okay. Okay. So the square, oh sorry, the trapezium here. Okay, so you can see down here we have the same shape. It looks like a gold bar. Okay, so that one, I'm going to make another line here. This is all a bit slow over the video, but bear with me. Okay, so that matches that one. Now, if you remember further up, we had a cube, which I said had a square face. So here's our square. So I'm going to go back up and hopefully we'll be able to see. Yeah, we'll draw. I'm just going to insert another line. And we'll match up our square to our cube. I'll just go up so you can see it properly. Sorry. Okay, so there you can see the square face of the cube. You've got 6 faces on that cube. 1, 2, 3. The one behind there is 4. The one underneath is 5. And the one to the left here is 6. Okay, so what are we missing? The hexagon. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we had a look at the 3D hexagonal prism there a minute ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides on that one. So let's put a line in there. That's that one. And I think there's one left. 2 left. No, 1 left. Okay, yes, and the last one. So here we have a circle. Okay, and you can see on this cylinder, this could be a can of beans or a tin of coffee, could be lots of different shapes. We have lots of cylinders in the house, I'm sure you've noticed. But the top of this is a circle and so is the bottom. And it's like you've just stretched them out to get the cylinder in between. So they match. Okay. That's that one there. Okay. And then we spoke a little bit more about the language on 3D shapes, which we'll talk about a bit more this week as well. And then we looked at a picture that I took here in the house of just household objects, things in the kitchen. You wouldn't have all of them, but you'd have a lot of them. So I asked you how many cuboids can you see? Now, a lot of people are saying 2. A cuboid is like a rectangle, a 3D rectangle. So there's actually 3 here. There's the tea bags, the box of pasta, and the tin, the Lion's T tin, they're all cuboids. They're like stretched out rectangles. Okay, so 3 is the answer there. How many spheres are there? Spheres are shapes like balls. Anything that's a ball shape is a sphere. So we've 2. We've this orange one here, and then we've this little red and white colored one here. Just 2 spheres. Okay. Now there are 6 cylinders. So could you find them all? So let's go back up. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, might be a bit flat, but it's not totally flat, so that's still a cylinder. So you can see we have long ones, thin ones, flat, quite short ones if you like, skinny ones, lots of different shapes. So that was the cylinders, so 6 of them. Can you see the cone? So that was the homemade one, like the nets you have this week. There's a cone, okay, like what you put ice cream in. Or you see them on the road when there's roadworks. Now, the ovoids weren't mentioned in the picture that you had showing you the names of 3D shapes. So ovoids are egg-like shapes. So you have this egg here, and you also have this yellow one here. And I think some people might have called them spheres. They're not actually spheres because they are not, if you cut your sphere in half, you would have a perfect circle looking at you on the base, but it's not the case for the ovally shapes. These are ovoid, so they're slightly different to spheres. Okay, so the egg and the yellow, it's like a ball, but it's not quite a ball. They're the 2 ovoids. And then I asked, did you know what the glass shapes were? We'll go back to that in a minute. And the 2 cubes in the picture, I wanted you to tell me what they're called. So the glass shapes, you wouldn't have these at home. I happen to have them. They're both triangular pyramids, or prisms, I should say. Prisms, triangular prisms. You can see the triangle face there on the long one. It's just like a stretched out triangle. And then this one is a slightly different shaped triangle, but it's still a triangular prism. Okay, so that's what they are. And the 2 cubes in the picture, one is a Rubik's Cube. It's a very well-known puzzle. And then the other one is a little dice that we use for games. Okay, so that's why I asked you, could you name those, because there's a common name for both of those. And are there any more questions there? No. So the last bit then was just to find some 3D shapes that you can find at home. Okay, so there's lots of examples of those. Most boxes are cuboids. You might have a box that's a cube. You will see lots of cylinders around your kitchen row like we have here, a tin of beans, tin of tomatoes. There's lots of different examples. So just fill those in with what you can find. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.